So this is a very simple concept, but it's underutilized, so I'm making the video. This is mostly for Doordashers and UberEats drivers, but it applies to everybody, believe me. No matter where you're at in life, this is going to make a huge difference on maybe even the trajectory of your entire life, like really. So not only is it going to make your experience door dashing smoother, probably make you money, make you more money per day or whatever, and it could also possibly open up doors, maybe even get you off the DoorDash hamster wheel. Okay, I'm not a guru, but I have done like 12,000 deliveries or whatever, so I have a little bit of experience, and I see a lot of things. I'm gonna share something I see with you every day, and if you're DoorDash and you've probably seen this too, you might even do this, which might not, it's not everybody, but just give you the scenario. DoorDasher walks in the store like he owns the place, walks up to the counter. If the counter wasn't there, he would walk right straight into the kitchen. Walks up to the counter, shoves the phone in the employee's face, doesn't say a word, right? In other words, you're non-verbally implying, where's my order? Now, 90% of communication is non-verbal. It's the eyes, it's the facial expression, it's the stance that you take, it's the little things, right? But they add up. You know, usually the way you're feeling and what you're putting out or whatever, it gets across. So if you walk in like you own the place, people are picking up on that. If you act like that employee works for you personally, they're picking up on that. And people are going to tend to mirror one way or another how you act, right? So, I mean, you know what I'm saying? If you come in aggressive, they're either going to be aggressive or defensive. Based on that, and it's not going to do you a whole lot of good. Honestly, I think it's doing a net negative. And so, you know, there's a lot of things we can't control. We can't control the algorithm, we can't control other people, we can't control how they act. There are stores in my market that I cannot get along with the people, right? But anytime you can build a relationship, it's going to help you. Okay, believe me on this, because there are stores in my market where I walk in and they know me and they say, "What's up, man? Your order's got 5 minutes on it." And I'm like, okay, so I know that the order's got 5 minutes. I'm not in no man's land anymore. I know they have the order. I can consider whether it's, you know, I should wait for this order or not. And that's a huge help. And that only happens when you build relationships, you know, along the way. Now, if you're going to be dashing in the same community, in the same market, this can make a huge difference day to day. You know, 5 or 6 stops at stores where the people know you, they see you come in, they appreciate that you're reliable and that you're going to be personable. You don't have to talk about, you know, your hobbies or whatever with the person. We're just talking about a working relationship. Nobody's the lone wolf out here. Now, I know a lot of the people in the restaurant, sometimes people have gotten really good since 2020. People have gotten really good at not looking you in the eye, right? When you come in, and I've been in restaurants, fast food restaurants, where customers even have walked in, and if 3 or 4 minutes goes by, nobody's even looked anybody in the eye. You know, they're just, you know, trying to avoid people, right? And so you're wondering, like, do they have the order? Are they making the order? Is it going to be like 10-20 minutes on this thing? What's going on here, right? And you just don't know. So but those people are not typically going to just open up. I have found, though, that when you do finally get the eye contact, you know what I mean, and 90% of communication is nonverbal, and you non-verbally invite them to a mutual respect or whatever, that people will open up. It's just that people have treated each other so badly for so long that nobody wants to open up. Nobody wants to talk to anybody because they just don't even want to open themselves to that possibility, right, of a bad interaction. So if you make sure that they understand, hey, look, I'm not here to hurt you. I'm just here to do a job. Let's work together on this thing. It's cool. A lot of times that helps, right? That makes, you know, just so take that first step. So what am I talking about? Basically common decency, right? Common decency. It's just the way you behave, way you carry yourself. It's going to make a huge difference. Now, I'll admit there's been times where I got frustrated. The employees were a little bit, you know, yeah, I would say disrespectful, I guess, to everybody, not just me, but all the dashers, all the customers. And, you know, you get a little impatient because you're not making money when you're just standing there. And so I know this from experience, trial and error, right? But, you know, I've always tried to treat people with respect, but there's been times when you know, maybe I didn't do my best. And I've seen that was just reflected right back. Okay, so it did no good whatsoever. So, but most of the time, I'm really just trying to work with everybody because I realize we're just trying to get the job done, right? None of us are making $1 million a year out here doing this. Everybody's pretty much at the bottom of the barrel, right? I mean, even the managers, right? What are you making? $50,000, $60,000 a year? Right? So maybe more, but I'm just, you get what I'm saying. We're all kind of like in the same boat, right? So we might as well work together. If we do that, if you have that attitude and that mentality, a lot of times it can make a big difference. And I even think it can make you more money in the long run, just as a knock-on effect. You know, you go in, you get the order faster maybe because they know who you are, and they go and get it out to you, and that accumulates over time, and it translates into more deliveries, which translates into more money, and also it's less stress, a lot less stress on you. So instead of walking in like you own the place, showing the order, you know, acting like these people are your employees, you know, just have a little common decency, common courtesy. You can't win over everybody, but like I said, I've made friends door dashing. There are people that I've just really good working relationship with. If that SHTF happened tomorrow and we're out on the street or whatever, we see each other, we both know, hey, that person is at least reliable in the food industry. So, you know, at least they're not trying to, maybe they're not trying to out to get me or whatever. And maybe we can help each other get out of this situation, because the people, we got to work together, right? We'd like to think we just work on our own. I do it as much as I can, you know, businesses and stuff. I do a lot of things on my own, but at the end of the day, you know, you're watching this video, right? I can do, this isn't a thing without you. And so everything's like that. And so the sooner we realize that, the sooner we get to that, maybe we can get back to where things are going a little bit better on a day-to-day in our country. Because really, after 2020, customer service, I noticed it went way down. It's because nobody cares, right? Because it's like, I'm getting paid minimum wage. You know, I get it. I totally get it. But dude, you don't understand. You could be opening doors, just having these conversations. Maybe you have a good personality and you're having that conversation with somebody and they're like, hey, look, what are you doing fast food? Or maybe your manager sees that you're personable and they're like, hey, run a shift or something. You get what I'm saying? So it applies across the board, but for door dashers especially, I see people getting really rude. It's almost like a war out there, battle between the door dashers and the employees. And it doesn't have to be that way. Believe me, most of my stores in the markets that I work, we get along great. And they see me coming. I know what's up. I give them their space. I know they're going to come up to me whenever they can. And we just make it happen. And I think it goes a lot smoother that way. But at the same time, I see people coming in with that kind of I own the place attitude. And I also see how the employees interact with that, and I think they're not getting the best out of the situation that way, right? So sometimes just being real and being decent towards people or whatever, it goes a long way, right? So I know this is basic, it shouldn't have to be said, but there it is. That's a huge tip. It can make a huge difference for your DoorDash, UberEats experience. Let me know what you think in the comments. If you want, you know, like, subscribe, all that stuff. And I'll catch you guys on another video. Till next time.